Today's verse of the day, Proverbs chapter 16, verse 32. Patience is better than power, and controlling one's emotions than capturing a city. On your journey, it's important that you know, be patient, because it's not going to happen overnight. The thing that you're chasing isn't going to give you the result that you want in one singular night or in one singular day. So you have to be patient and willing to show up and endure everything that comes with the journey each and every day, regardless of the outcome, regardless of the result. Because the moment that you stop giving in to chasing the dream that you're chasing, the journey ends. And once the journey ends, it ends. You have nothing. You can't pursue the thing that you were pursuing anymore because you decided to quit, or you decided to no longer chase that thing. So on your journey, make sure that you're patient and willing to show up each and every day with the same energy, the same discipline, the same execution, and continue to show up until you get that result. With that being said, let's get to the charts. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Here we have the Monday chart loaded on the MNQ chart. So let's talk about what we took on Monday. So starting out with Monday, we had some initial selling pressure come into the market, but not too strong of selling pressure to the point where we saw a lot of selling. So I saw that we were failing to hold above the orb level here between 27,887 and 27,808. So once I saw this candle come in with the failure to go higher, I took an initial sell-off position, catching this move back down to the EMA lines. Taking trims there once we closed a little bit below it. I was able to capture a little bit of profit, but then we got stopped out because we reversed and went back up above our orb high. And then we were range bound between that level for a period of time. So by this time I was done trading. After trying to re-enter this position and see it continue lower, we failed to capture that move. And so I just took those two trades for the day, and then I was done after that. But we did end up seeing failure come into the market after a while, closer towards 10 o'clock actually, which is where we then saw some failure kick in. We had a very aggressive sell-off come in once we reached up to 27,936. We then saw a reversal come in and go all the way back below our orb low and reaching all the way down to about 27,614, where we then saw a reversal come back up, going back higher, and then closing out the day around 27,750. So that was our day going on into Monday. Let's talk about Tuesday and what trades we took on Tuesday. All right, you guys, here we have the Tuesday chart loaded on the MNQ chart 5-minute time frame. So as you guys see, we had initially held our previous day high, and we pushed above that previous day high, going into new all-time highs. From here, we were seeing a lot of low volume kick in around 10 o'clock. And so I was looking for a short position because I was seeing a lot of aggressive sell-offs as we reached higher levels, but it wasn't a continuation. We never really got continuation. However, once we kicked in to around 10 o'clock, I did start to notice that we were kind of topping out around this 28,140 level. Once I noticed that we were topping out around that 28,140 level, I was looking for a simple rejection off that level, because I noticed as we were going higher, our volume was going lower. And so to me, that indicated that we were seeing less and less buyers be interested in moving the price higher. We reached 11 o'clock, and that's where we then saw a little bit of volume increase towards the selling side, where we then got the move that I was looking to take. So I took this candle here, entering this position with using the all-time high and a little bit above the all-time high as a stop loss in case for a fake out or anything like that to happen. And we were able to capture this move back down lower, closer to 28,091. From there, I essentially took profit because I took most of my position off, and then I had got trimmed out of the rest of the position due to the candle wicking me out of the position and actually reclaiming and then going higher later in the day. So we were unable to capture a very aggressive move lower, but we did capture some of the move. Well, the move that really only made sense to me in the moment to see downside potential. So that's the trade we took on Tuesday. We took a few insignificant trades as well, trying to capture downside movement, but we weren't able to capture downside movement due to the market being so bullish. And so a lot of times this week we had a lot of bullish trend and a lot of bullish upward movement that we were not able to capitalize on due to the simple fact that it just was moving in a way that didn't make sense to me, which we'll talk about later on in this video as well. Take trades that make sense to you. If they don't make sense to you, then don't take a trade. But if it also doesn't align with what you're trying to see happen, don't take the trade. Because a lot of times this week I took trades that made sense to me, but the market wasn't allowing that trade to work out due to the fact that it was so bullish. And so within taking those trades, I took a few losses. So make sure that you're taking trades that align with the market's sentiment and the market's trend that it's having, rather than trying to take trades based on your theory and what you think works and makes sense. So with that being said, let's move on to Wednesday and talk about what trades we took on Wednesday. All right, you guys, and here we have the 5-minute chart loaded back on the MNQ chart. So let's talk about what we took on Wednesday for MNQ. So we had another gap up in the market, in the pre-market, and then we had a major aggressive sell-off coming all the way back down. And we opened out the day initially at 28,389. From there, we formed an orb level between our lows of 28,336 and our highs of 28,482. But then the very next candle, we saw a failure to go higher above the orb high. And so I took that as an indication to take puts using the candle high as a stop loss. I was able to capture this move going into the next candle. We got a wick lower and then we reversed off that wick and went higher. So I took profits at the lows and then we wicked higher and it trailed me out. Then we saw a back and forth move between the two ranges. So I was able to pretty much catch this move a few times in that range using that candle high as a stop loss and capturing this move back to the downside. I was able to scalp it a few times, but then over time we got trailed out of the position once again and the market ran even higher, reclaiming that pre-market all-time high and then breaking above that and just going absolutely parabolic. We ended up winning and losing on the day due to trying to take another put position later in the day after breaking above this orb high. Hence where I had a theory and the market wasn't aligning with my theory kicks in, because I was trying to take puts, but the market was very bullish. And so within me trying to take puts, I was getting pretty much BTA due to my theory being wrong and the market's conviction of the bull market being bullish. And this is where my bias should have flipped and where I should have taken calls. There was a position in time where I was looking to take calls, but I was seeing so much more selling pressure at the initial start of the day. I thought that we were going to get another fake out and the market was going to go lower. But that did not happen. We just trailed higher and higher all day long. And we closed at new all-time highs right around 28,712.25. And so that was the session that we had on Wednesday. All in all, learn to follow the trend, because we went against the trend at this point. Once our trend failed of the thesis of downside movement and this continuation lower, after getting wicked out here, this is where the bias flips, because after flipping this move once more at the same level, it shows you that there is bullish sentiment at this level, and there's buyers here at this level. So whenever they're showing you something, pay attention to what they're showing you and take acknowledgement of the thing that they're showing you and use it to your advantage rather than using it to your disadvantage and trying to trade against it. Trade with it, because it pays off. As you guys see, we had the breakout and we didn't go lower after that level. Once we broke back above this orb here, we pretty much held above orb all day long. We failed the EMA, but we held that orb line, and we held that previous level that was failure earlier in the day that we continued to wick off of and show strength time after time after time again. And so that was the move we had on Wednesday. Now let's move on to Thursday and talk about what trades we took on Thursday. All right, ladies and gents, here we have the MES chart loaded up on the 5-minute time frame for Thursday. So let's talk about the trade we took on Thursday. Pretty simple and easy trade, very straightforward trade. So let's talk about the day prior on the MES chart. As you guys see here, we closed out around this 73.95 level, so pretty much close to 7,400. And then in the pre-market and after hour session, we did reach above 700 and get all the way up to 74.10. And then going into the opening of the market, we fell back below that 7,400 level. And once I saw that failure kick in, I decided to take puts going into the orb high and the orb low levels. We formed the orb low around 73.90, and I saw a great opportunity to enter once we retested this trend line of the EMA. I used that previous candle high level as a stop loss, and rode this level down to 73.89, taking profits around 73.89. I took most of my profits off, then getting trailed out of this position, and failing to go lower, we reclaimed and went higher, pushed that higher, and then later in the day, we did see another aggressive sell-off. The aggressive sell-off that we were looking for initially happened later in the day, and we didn't capture this move. Unfortunately, we did see it happen, but I was not in the market at this time. I decided to take my profit and just be done for the day. And that is probably, sometimes having the weeks you have, if you have good weeks or bad weeks, you want to just secure your profits and be done. And that's what I did. And that's what I decided to do. But this was the sell-off move that I've been looking for all week. So I was a little salty that I missed it, just simply due to the fact that we, been chasing that move for the longest. And for me to not be in a part of it, that did kind of hurt. But that's just a part of the market. Sometimes you're not going to catch the moves you want. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. So you have to just charge it to the game and be ready for the next opportunity. But we did catch a one and done for the day, so I was happy with that. And with that being said, let's move on to Friday and talk about what trades we took on Friday. Hey, what's going on, y'all? I just want to say thank you all for watching. If you guys are new, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Also, turn on the notification bell. And if you guys want to learn more about how to day trade, I have a free day trading course on my website at www.continuebelief.com. There you'll get all the information and resources needed to help you guys learn more on your journey to day trading. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's get back to it. All right, you guys, here we have the Friday chart loaded, and it was a very short-lived day for me on Friday, unfortunately. Simply due to my mindset, my perspective, my approach, all things were wrong looking back on this trade and the trading session. So let's talk about it. So we have the MQ chart loaded on the 5-minute time frame. And as you guys see here, we had a pre-market high level that we broke above going into the opening bell session. First 15 minutes, we essentially broke above that level. I was looking for puts around this level to see if we were going to fail, because the previous day we held above the lows of that day, which was also the lows of the previous, or the highs of the previous day, I'm sorry. And we gapped up in this pre-market going into Friday, where we then broke above and broke into new all-time highs. I was looking for puts. Failure below this level. Never really got confirmation, which was the first indicator for me taking these trades was the wrong idea. And I was just very hell-bent on the market going down, simply due to the aggressive run-up we've been having. I just thought that the market's been overextended, which it is, but that doesn't mean that it wants to go lower at this moment in time. And it's definitely not showing confirmation to go lower. So there was no real reason for me to enter these trades. But nonetheless, I still took a position in this trade after seeing slight failure, the littlest of failure possible at these highs here. We took a position here using this candle high as stop loss, and not immediately stopped me out, but draw me out a few minutes, and then very next candle gapped up, pushed higher, and stopped me out essentially. I was upset and wanted to take another position, seeing if it was a fake out to go lower. I got back in it, caught it, moved down lower, but then it wicked right back up and went into a new high then. And at that point, I was just done, because I knew that the market was just gonna run for the rest of the day. So I kept my risk management in check. I said, this does not want to go lower, and sure enough, it did not go lower. For the rest of the day, we ran and ran and ran and ran and ran. And that's how the market's been going for the last few days. So I've just been like, you know what? I put my hands up. I said, I'm not gonna give in to the market's choppiness, upside movement. If it wants to go higher, then it wants to go higher. Accept it for what it is and move on. And that's what I did. So we did take it on Friday, and I was upset, but I just charged it to the game, because that's just a part of the game, especially when you have a market that we're having right now move the way it's moving, you can't get too emotional about the results. You have to just accept them for what they are and move on, and come back with more conviction, with more of a better strategy the next day. Because like I said, had I just took calls, then we would have been up, because it just ran the rest of the day. There was no real selling happening in the market. But that was not my thought process. That was not my approach. I took the approach that I did, and we took the L that we did. So we charged it to the game. And that was our week that we had this week. So with that being said, let's move on and talk about what trades we can expect to watch going into this next week of May. All right, you guys, here we have the 4-hour chart loaded on the SPY chart. And man, what a week, what a week, what a week. Once again, another push higher, which we love to see in the market. And that just means that the market's value is increasing, which is a great thing. The market is built to go up, so I love to see that we are pushing higher. However, I just feel that we are overextended, and we need a little bit of a refresher, or a little bit of a pullback, just a little bit, nothing too crazy, just a little bit of a pullback, so that we can find new levels to buy in at and see the market go even higher. So let's talk about where we started this week. So I believe we started around, we started really low. So we started initially at 720, fell in that 720 level, going back down to 715, where we then held, which I pointed out last week's video. If we held above 716, look to take calls, which if you guys did, you guys made a killing, because the market ran and ran and ran all week long, starting at 720, going to lows of 715, holding above 716, and pushing into highs of almost 740, right around 738. We closed out the week at 737.5. Very, very beautiful chart. If you look at it from a 4-hour perspective, it looks really good. You see an up and down move into that 716, and a very strong push off that 716 higher. And now we're looking for that next level to buy in at. So where is that level at? What can we watch going into this week of May? What levels can we watch going into the second week of May? The levels to watch going into the second week of May are going to be dependent upon how we respond to 740. I think that that's the next psychological level to watch. If we get a rejection off 740, we can see a push back down towards 730. And if we can hold 730, we can hold above it. We can then push back into 740. If we break above 740, we can push into probably 740.250 or 745. But if we fail to hold 730, we can get that push back down to this gap fill zone of 725, where we then can see that being the possible pivot that we need to see happen for a bounce higher, going back up into new highs. But if we fail to hold 725, then I think we push back down to that 716 range. And then from there, if we fail to hold 716, I think we could push lower to 712.5. So to me, the next psychological level to watch will be 740. We want to see how we respond off 740. Do we hold above it? Do we break above it and hold? Do we fail it and reject? How do we respond off 740? Once we see how we respond off 740, that'll give us indications to tell us whether we're going to continue to go higher, or if we're going to see a pullback and go lower. I think that that's where we can possibly see a pullback to go lower. And if we do see that pullback, we can then pull back to about 725, which I think would be the next level to buy in at, to see the market push back higher. Similar to where we were with 716, we had that push down to 716, right below 715, but we held above 716. And then we saw that reversal move and push into new all-time highs from Monday to Friday. So that's my predictions. That's what I think you guys should watch going into this week. Comment below what you guys are watching. Comment below how you guys did last week. Did you guys do well? Did you guys catch this move? Did you guys not catch this move? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, man. We are having a very, very good time in the market right now. A lot of opportunity and value is pouring into the market. You know, a lot of great names are reporting. A lot of great companies are running really, really high. You see SanDisk doing really well, amazingly well. You know, AMD, Micron, all the semiconductor and tech names, I think, are just what's leading this market. And you know, that's the typical sector that's generally running the market and helping the market see value increase is tech. So if you guys are not investing in tech, it is important to get invested into tech. You don't have to invest your whole portfolio, but a good portion of your portfolio into tech so that you can capitalize on these gains. You know, I'm seeing some pretty cool returns in my account personally, and so I'm really happy to see that. But I do want to see more value, and I also want to get better value prices so I can buy more shares. And so that's what I want to see happen. I want to see a little bit more of a pullback rather than to continue to run up, because don't get me wrong, it's amazing that we're running up the way we are, but I just think that, you know, in order for people to continue buying, we have to see some sort of pullback so that we can buy more. But yeah, with that being said, this is the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell if you guys are new, and tune in tomorrow for the Rich Off Gains podcast, where I'll be talking about everything that's going on in the market currently. Thank you all so much for watching. See you guys next week. Stay safe. God bless.